Good evening and welcome to the East St. Paul Planning Meeting. I'll call the meeting to order, the time being 5:30. Item number 2 on the agenda is the adoption of the amended agenda, which needs to be amended further, amending to add the Western Canadian Baseball Championship. Have the resolution.
Be resolved that the agenda be amended as follows, adding item 9.1.4, which is the 2024 Western Canada Baseball Championships, and item 9.3.1, which is the pumper rescue truck purchase.
Thank you. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horechko, second by Councillor Posthumous. All those in favor? And that's carried. Item number 4, confirmation of minutes.
Be resolved that the council meeting minutes of the November 7th, 2023 regular meeting approved.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Imhoff, seconded by Councillor Duval. All those in favor? We don't have any delegations this evening. We do have some public hearings. We will have the resolution to open the public hearing for item number 6.1.
Be resolved that council open the public hearing of council for variation order 124/2023 for 48 Ryan Wirth Way.
I have a mover, please. Councillor Duval, seconded by Councillor Imhoff. All those in favor? That's carried. The public hearing is now open, and I will pass the floor off to Mr. Planner from RRPD.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, Council. This is variance application VO 124/2023. The subject property is located at 48 Ryan Wirth Way. The applicant wishes to reduce the site width from the required 100 feet to 40 feet in the commercial highway zone. This application is part of a conditionally approved subdivision as 222979. So this is the variance request table. As I said, they want to reduce from 100 feet to 40 feet. This is the location map. This is the subdivision application map for the application at the time. So as per the definitions in the bylaw, you have to measure the site width from the 50-foot mark, which would be on this driveway. So even though the lot is wide enough, 40 feet would be considered as the site width as per the definitions. So for council's consideration, as I said, the subdivision was approved earlier this year in February 2023. We did not receive any objections during the circulation period. If the council wishes to approve this application, we just have one standard condition. This variance is limited to what is presented in this application. Any further changes would require new approval. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Council, do you have any questions for Mr. Planner? Okay. Then I will move on to the those signed in support. Is the applicant in the audience? Are you signed in to speak to me? You are Al Way.
Al Degner, Pollock and Wright Land Surveyors. Al Degner, Pollock and Wright Land Surveyors. For the applicant, we have nothing to add.
Okay, thank you very much. Steve, you're just in support. You're not going to speak this evening. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we don't have anybody signed in opposition, and we have nobody in council chambers for information. We do have somebody on Zoom for information, Chris Yunker. I'm wondering if they would like to speak to the application or if they are just comfortable with the information provided. Sure, thank you.
Oh, sorry. Hi, it's Chris here. I'm just here for info. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, council, are you prepared to close the public hearing? Okay, for resolution.
Be resolved that council close the public hearing of council for variation order 124/2023 for 48 Ryan Wirth Way.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Posthumous, seconded by Councillor Horechko. All those in favor? That's carried. The public hearing is now closed for resolution.
Be resolved that variation order 124/2023 be approved with the following condition. This variance is limited to what is proposed within this application, and any changes will require a new variance approval.
I have a mover, please. Councillor Duval, seconded by Councillor Imhoff. Any comments, questions, or discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Okay, and public hearing 6.2 for resolution to open.
The result that council open the public hearing of council for variation order 121, 2023 for 780 Wallace Avenue.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Posturas, seconded by Counselor Parechko. All those in favor? That's carried. The public hearing is now open, and I will pass the floor off to Mr. Planner.
Thank you, ma'am. This is variance application view 121/2023. This update property is located at 780 Wallace Avenue. The applicant wishes to allow for 2 access points or driveways in the single dwelling residential zone. This is the variance request table. As you can see, section 56.3 of the current bylaw restricts the driveway to 1, but the applicant has 2 driveways. This is the location map. As you can see, the property gains access from Wallace Avenue. This is the site plan provided by the applicant. This is the single family dwelling. This is the garage, and there's a driveway, 2 driveways here. For council's consideration, this is the Google's image from 2015. As you can see, this was grassed in 2015 as per this photo. This is the photo from 2021. This driveway was gravelled. And this is the picture from bylaw enforcement, November 15, 2023. So this application is a result of a bylaw infraction. The applicant owner obtained approval for side yard variance to build a garage back in 2015. And the council at the time did not approve a second driveway as part of that application. The RM council at the time passed a resolution to remove the second driveway, and a letter was sent by enforcement in 2016 to remove the second driveway. We did receive a letter of objection from a neighboring resident that was provided to the council for consideration. If the council wishes to approve this application, regular planning notes that additional permits will be required from the operations department of East St. Paul. If the council wishes to approve this application, we just have 3 standard conditions. This variance is limited to what is proposed in this application. Any further changes require new approval. Number 2, the applicant owner obtains all the required permits from RM of East St. Paul Operations Department. And number 3, the applicant owner obtains all the required permits from regular planning if required. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Council, any questions? No questions? The applicant is in the audience this evening, would like to speak to the application. So I'm just wondering if you would like to come up and to the podium and speak to council on the application this evening.
I just would like to know who's objecting to me having a second driveway. As to the, I've had the approach is there when the house was built in 1979. It was gravelled at the time. And I let it go because I didn't require it. When I built the second garage, I got the approval. I didn't think I needed a driveway because I had an approach. So then I was told, well, I can't have a driveway, even though I have an approach. So then, through the lawyers and everything else, it was settled and everything went aside in 2015 or 16. And $10,000 lawyers' fees later. Now, all of a sudden I get, somebody had said that they disapproved of me having a second driveway, even though there's 5 other houses down the street that have 2 driveways. So I don't understand why this has come up again, because it was laid to rest and nobody did anything for 9 years or 8 years. So I'm confused. I don't know what more I have to say, what more I have to do. If there is a bylaw, then there's 5 other houses down the street that are against bylaw. I haven't heard them come up to court here to ask for permission to get a second driveway because they've had them there for as long as I've been there. I've been there since 30 years almost, so that's all I have to say. And I understand why I'm getting pounced on. 5 other properties have 2 driveways.
Okay, I'd like to know, can you, of course, I wasn't on council when this all transpired in the past. Can you explain the legal process that you said that you went through?
My lawyers were objecting to the fact that approach was always there. If you look back on Google Maps, I don't think you can anymore, but when I originally brought it up, sorry, I showed Google Maps from 2009, where there was actually gravel on the approach. George Moyen, who owned the place before me, was using it as a driveway because he was parking an RV back there or whatever. Then I stopped using it and I just let it grow in because it was easier to cut the grass. And I wasn't using it until my sons started getting their license and I needed different places for them to park. So then I needed to drop another garage because my vehicle never fit in the original garage that was part of the house. So we objected with, I had my lawyers, take it into account to the council and to the RM and Redwood for planning. I'm not even sure who was part of it. It's been so long. But it cost me $10,000 in lawyers' fees just to get things set aside. Now, nothing was done since for 8 years. So all of a sudden it pops up again. Somebody had objected to the fact that I have a second driveway and here we are again. So I don't understand it. And as far as I know, none of the other 5 properties ever come before council and said, well, you have 2 driveways, you have to get rid of one. When my house has been there just as long as those other properties. So here we stand again.
And when you say set aside, is it that there was an agreement or was it just, there was no more communication in regards to.
There was nothing else said and it was just set aside. I mean, you should have it in some place in your system. I mean, I don't have it in my system, but you must have it in your system. Organizing my house.
I will ask staff, but we're just gonna have a conversation with you first and then I'll relate to the staff. Council, do you have any questions for?
Yeah, so you're saying in the 70s or whenever the house was there was a grass extra driveway or access point.
Yes.
And it was gravel. And that this now came up, I'm guessing because of when did the new garage go in?
2015.
Okay, so when 2015 came in, that's when you would have, with the permit for the garage, they would have said, well, where's your driveway? And then you would have been putting in the driveway and then they would have probably said you can't have 2 driveways.
But if you have 2 approaches, why can't you have 2 driveways?
Maybe our staff can.
That's my whole thing. I mean,
Yeah,
if you have two approaches, that means you have 2 accesses to your property. But it was never, for some reason, it was just, to me, that's just common sense. And I don't understand why there was even a fight over the fact. But the garage is there. I have to be able to get my vehicles out. If I get approved for a garage, what do they think I'm gonna do? Just park in there and just look out and say, well, there's the street. I can see the street, but I can't drive up the driveway or out of my garage to anywhere. So yes, I put a driveway in, but the approach was always there. And the driveway is actually my property. And the approach is your property, but it was always there. So all I'm doing is using it more now for a vehicle other than my lawnmower that's been going across there for 25 years. So I don't understand.
but the statement that they read that it was grass, but okay, notes, the property was serviced by 1 approach and a driveway previously with a caveat that it was a grass access point. And then they said its operations, the new approach and gravel driveway would have to comply with existing bylaws.
I am telling you that you can phone George Moyen, I know he's still alive, and he will tell you that it was a gravel approach. And if you can look back on Google Maps in 2009 or prior, I tried again, but you can't get past a certain point right now for some reason. I don't know why. I tried to show them again, but back in the day, when I did present this originally, it showed a gravel driveway on the earliest Google Maps. You can't get it now. And I did put this all in my thing back when we were fighting this originally. And again, if I don't get approved, why are the other 5 driveways? Other 5 properties have two driveways, and I can't.
Councillor Duval?
What's the time frame of the legal advice that you got that you mentioned?
Pardon me?
What's the time frame, the legal advice, the legal motions that you took? When was that?
That was 2017, I believe.
Was it 2015 that the variance was denied? Did you come before council to ask for a second approach and it was?
Yes,
Yes, okay, and then that's when the legal,
right.
so 2015, Brian.
I thought it was first brought, and then I took it to my lawyers and said, like, this is wrong. Why can I not have 2 driveways when like 5 other places down the street do? I've had the approach since the house was built. So why am I being denied having a second driveway? It just did not make any sense to me, and it sounded kind of precious.
I guess I could ask administration if they might know. Did we ever have contact from their his legal advisors over this in 2017, you might say?
Yes, you did.
So let's finish with Mr.
The applicant.
Lewick. And then we can talk to staff. We'll just follow proper process. Does anybody else have any questions for Mr. Lewick?
Nope.
Councillor Duval?
Did you go ahead and build the driveway as we see it today, on the advice of your lawyers?
Oh.
Now, whose advice did you do that on?
That was just the contractor.
The contractor.
That
Yeah.
built the garage. He built the garage.
When I built the garage, just poured the gravel down. I mean, I had to get it, he had to get in and out of there, I had to get in and out of there, we had trucks going in and out of there, it was all mud. So. Like I said, the approach was there.
Thank you. No more questions.
Through construction, did they give you temporary approach or temporary access? Or was it just that you just created the road to go, the driveway to go in for construction?
No, we were driving over there. And in the process of driving over there with the concrete trucks and everything else, the grass turned to mud. I mean, it just got destroyed. Let's face it, it's a construction site.
No, I understand. I'm just saying, were you granted by the RM any temporary access to cross over? Because
No,
the RM considered not to have an approach there in 2015 and the variance was denied. So I'm just asking if they get granted you temporary access.
no, but the approach was always there.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Hitchfield.
So the culvert was there
Yes,
since you moved in, so to speak.
yeah, it's been there since like it's 1979 or 1978, wherever the house was built. But you can't go back right now on Google Maps further than. And you can even see it there, you can see a pathway there at that point, that may be 2. So. It just wasn't,
I don't think.
it wasn't as clear as it is now, but there was gravel there. And I just let it grow through.
There's a end of the culvert, let's see. Okay.
Thank you. We have somebody here tonight in opposition, SM. I don't know how, I don't. First sock. Okay, would you like to come up to the podium and speak to the variance tonight?
I
You have
just,
You have to come up to there to speak.
yeah, I did own that strip of land. That was mine beginning.
Oh.
It belonged to my lot.
Sorry, you live at 770 and this is 780, so you're next door,
Yes,
okay? And the strip, you're saying that the driveway was on your property?
was on my property,
Was on your property.
right?
Can you explain that a little bit better?
It's hard to explain. We bought the house from Brown's. And we were going through the lawyer and everything. And then, we were ready to buy it. We were paying cash and the lawyer, Mr. Wallace, called us to the office with my neighbors here. And they wanted to, Brownie wanted me, he said he made a verbal agreement with my neighbors that we couldn't buy the house unless we gave him that entrance.
That 10-foot.
And I didn't know what to do, so, you know. We love the home, we bought it. And that's all I can tell you. And it was grass.
And it was grass.
Yeah.
Very good.
When did you buy the home?
Oh, geez.
Oh, well, we can't have that. You can talk after the public hearing, but we can't have the back and forth in the audience.
Oh, okay.
So I'll ask you, when did you buy the home?
That's a long time.
And so are you indicating that the lot was wider and you
Yes.
gave up a section of the land?
Well, we had no choice.
Like all the way from the street to the back, you gave them a section of your land?
No, just that, it was like an L shape where that driveway or that culvert was.
Mhm.
The entrance, that was connected to our land,
Oh,
but we couldn't. Brown said we couldn't purchase it because we had to. They made a verbal agreement with my neighbors to give it to them before we could purchase the home. So
Thank you. So I'm just wondering, I see these lines of subdivision. Are they accurate, Kara?
As far as I know, I mean, unless we contacted land titles, right, and that's the.
No.
Lines.
What I'm seeing, but okay, I'll come back to it.
Reg is on his.
Do we have any questions for,
Yeah, so you're stating that then that was it a second entrance to that property? Or did you have to build a new driveway after?
No, we had our own driveway, that was just a culvert with grass over. it.
Okay, so it was like just a culvert with grass.
Yeah, we used to park our trailer just alongside there, that's all.
It was a culvert.
any other questions?
No.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, somebody else signed in for the public hearing. Kara, I have a couple questions. If I'm seeing these lot lines, is there a reason that the garage is on the neighboring property, or is this accurate? That's why I'm asking you that.
Yeah, these aren't always exactly perfect.
Okay, thank you. And then do you know anything about what transpired in 2015 that you could enlighten council with the legal process that had been taken?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the legal process, but what happened is when the garage was built, they applied for the variance to have the second approach. Since our bylaws since 1996 have indicated you can't have two approaches, you require variance. Prior to 1996, there was nothing in regards to approaches in our bylaw at all. So they came forward, they were turned down, they were sent a bylaw notification to remove the driveway, and then there's just some wording from the applicant that indicates that there was some regarding his lawyers and talked to his lawyer, but there was nothing official that indicated it was just our official records are it was turned down by council.
Okay, Councillor Hratchko.
So in this case, the approach with a culvert was there from when the person bought the home. So my understanding is they could drive over it because it was there. So wouldn't this be like a grandfathered thing that?
Well, our operations department has absolutely no approach permits for that second approach on file, and as I indicated, this is the records we have. We don't have anything from, you know, when they indicated the 70s.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. So we don't have nothing on paper from 1970 that says there was two approaches or there wasn't, but based on the information from the people, it existed, and the pictures show it existed. You didn't put it in. So.
Sorry, just a quick comment. So in 2015, the variance was two parts. There was a side yard variance for the garage.
Right.
That was approved. But the driveways was part of the same application, but that portion was taken out. So something happened at the public hearing at the time, and after discussions, it was taken out.
Well, I don't know if it was ever brought up that there was an approach in then. Like,
We have 3 councillors that would have been on council.
yeah, I'm one of them.
And when we go to discussion, we'll see if anybody recalls the public hearing at the time. Is there any other questions that we'd like to ask our staff members before we close the public hearing and then move to discussion? Where we won't be having that, it'll be just council having a discussion. Councillor Duval.
Just like to ask, Connor, you say the approach of that 2015, the June 2015, the public hearing, the approach was taken out. What do you mean by that?
So the section of the report or the variance request was taken out. So they requested
Cancelled?
second driveway.
Has it been cancelled?
It's not.
So as per our records, in the application, there is a record saying this is a proposed driveway. And the application was paid for 2 things, the side yard and the second driveway. But council only approved the side yard and not the driveway. Following that, the violation notice was sent, I think in December 2015. And then there's a whole timeline of events that happened.
Okay, thank you.
That's what I was gonna ask about.
Councillor Hratchko.
So we turned down a second driveway,
Yes.
Well, second approach.
second approach driveway, not knowing that there was a culvert and that in the ground at that time. We just said you couldn't build one moving forward.
There's no
Yeah.
permits taken out
And I'm not sure
prior
if.
past
this was-
2015 from operations.
Correct, because it was there from 1970.
Can't speak to what you spoke about at that hearing.
But the lady that actually subdivided the property said that there was a culvert in there.
But council turned it down based it.
No, this is a confusing one.
Suzanne, do you have any?
Well, I'm just,
Tell you're looking for.
yeah, no, I'm just looking through the public hearing package for that specific meeting, and I'm just basically gonna confirm what our planner said. It said the purpose was to construct a 27.5 foot by 33 foot garage as an addition to the west side of the existing dwelling with an additional driveway to access the proposed garage. However, the resolution that was approved that night did not include the driveway access. So there must have been some discussion at the time prior to the resolution being read where council decided to remove that second access.
What was the recommendation in the public hearing for the second driveway?
That our office recommends approval of the side yard aspect of this variance order as it generally consistent with section 97 of the Planning Act. This variance is limited to the west side yard setback for the main structure as proposed within the application and does not apply to any future setback variances, including expansion or replacement of the proposed structure, and that the owner obtains all required permits from the RPD. So the recommendation was to not approve the second driveway.
Did operations have any comments?
Right here, if we pass it around.
That's the variance application from 2015. I brought the file.
Thank you. Can we confirm how many driveways are on Wallace that are double driveways? They're telling me 5. Do we have?
We have to confirm.
For sure 5.
There's actually a sixth one, if you consider the border house.
There's,
And all that, because they have approach from.
I see one at 50, yeah, 544.
476 looks like his is half on somebody else's property, but these lines, I don't know where they come from.
Oh, yeah, there's 2.
Sorry, just a quick comment. So these lines are from Manitoba assessment.
Yeah.
They're not 100% accurate.
Sure, that's why
It's just a DAS mapping.
I'm just making a bit of a joke that it looks like 476 is on somebody else's property.
Yeah. These are not 100% accurate at all.
Can we take 10 minutes just to review the information that from the previous public hearing?
Again, I would just like to make a comment
Sure.
that the applicant was questioning who had made the complaint, and I just wanted to touch on that complaints to bylaw, it's complaint driven, so there would have been, bylaw would have received a complaint from a resident in the community, or you know, there would have been a complaint generated, which would have sparked the investigation into the second access. So I hope that answers this question as to how.
Why he's, do you know the nature of the complaint?
I would have to look into to find that information, but again, I can't share who.
Oh, not who, but the nature of the complaint.
Yeah.
Why does the second driveway warrant a complaint? So we'll take 10 minutes and maybe we'll just move into the committee room with the package.
Okay.
Yeah. Council is back from our 10-minute recess. And I would like to bring up Mr. Lewick to the podium. Thank you. Council is going to leave the public hearing open this evening for further information, and we have a couple items that we'd like if you could acquire. For one, if the approach was in prior to 1996, do you have some form of documentation that you could provide? The previous owner, would he have a picture? I mean, we're just asking if you could find something that can support that the approach was there, the culvert was in prior to 1996. And if you could provide the legal transactions, like any letters or anything that you might have on file, because our staff doesn't have anything on file in regards to the legal aspect that you had spoken of, and we would like to read that. So council's not prepared to make a decision tonight. We would like to get further information from yourself and go into our archives and see if we can find some more information as well. And the reason for that is because if an approach was in place prior to 1996, then that approach would be grandfathered. And council wouldn't have, I mean, we can always make decisions further, but that's what we're trying to determine so that we can make a proper decision. I know it might be, you know, a little bit daunting, but.
Well, we could have got it before, but like I know George Moyen could come and say, yes, that coach is there. I think he's still alive. I still see him on Facebook, but I mean, he was. My photos, I know don't go back that far, prior to 96, we didn't move until 97, I think. So any photos that I have, and Google doesn't have any photos. I know, I'm sure he's still alive, the two people down, 2 doors down, they did have that approach was there. He had knowledge of it. Are there pictures? I don't even know how to get a hold of George Moyen.
So you would have purchased, just to give you a little bit of a route to take, you would have purchased the property and it would have been sold by a realtor.
Right.
Sometimes that's a good way to start, and you might find something that's on a file somewhere if you remember who your realtor is. I found a lot of doing different other work of mine based on realtors. They usually have some stuff. There's archives of stuff everywhere. In saying that, if he is alive and he does want to write a letter to council, or if you have neighbors that want to write letters, we do have the neighbor that did indicate that there was an approach there, because she indicated that she provided it to your property. We don't know how that looks. That actually would have been a subdivision and a process through council, so I'm not exactly certain of
No, that
that.
wasn't what it was.
Right, so we're asking.
It was a mistake by Red River Planning from years ago that they had a little. There was a little strip where that approach is that was put to their property by mistake by Red River Planning or whoever was doing it back from 1970. I have the old plan someplace where it shows that little strip. So there had to be a correction made because that's not nobody's property, it's actually the RM's property. Right, it's not our property, it's not her property, but that approach area, which is the ditch, which is not our property anyways, it is the RM's property, right? So that's the correction that had to be made. That's all that was. It wasn't me taking her property, it was the RM correcting a problem that they had from before.
Granted, and I fully understand that, otherwise it would have been a subdivision process.
Now, the lawyers thinks, yes, I can get in touch with my lawyers and get all the transactions that were put there, but you should have that as well. I don't know why that's put on me again, you know, that I have all the transactions, I can show you all the bills that I paid.
Sure.
You know.
I think that in a public hearing setting, the more information, the better. And it's really important that homeowners have all that documentation to present. The reason for is because a decision of council was made in 2015. And this council, unless there's information that provides other, would typically honor the decision that was made in a prior public hearing setting. And also that a approach or driveway was placed in after a decision was made isn't always, you know, the best start. So that's why we're saying that we would like to look further into this, look back into the history of it, because if it is an approach that existed prior to 1996, it would have the ability to be grandfathered. And that would essentially make this, I mean, council can always make a decision, but it's easier for us to make decisions if we have more information.
As long as you do your due diligence and I do what I can, but I'm out of town until the end of the month now. So I don't know when you want to do this again. But
Well, we could bring it back in January, end of January. We could bring it back. We don't have a date that we have to bring it back because we're leaving it open.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You would get that information to Kara.
You would work with Kara. You can't approach council because of course we're in a public hearing. And you know, and if the individual did want to come to speak to in January, that'd be great. Or if he wanted to get a notarized letter, that'd be great. Or if he had a picture, because.
Or a picture.
He's still alive, he's around 90 years old.
Okay, well, I mean, good on him.
He's on Facebook.
Counselor Posthumous?
Yeah, and that probably would have been City of Winnipeg.
Pardon me?
It probably would have been, we were with the City of Winnipeg before they did all the subdivisions.
Yes, it was.
So that's probably where if it may show
All
up.
that stuff is with City of Winnipeg that I had to back in 2015.
And you're saying when the sale of the property came for you to buy, that's when the correction was made on this little section.
No, that when they were, when Bruce Brown and my neighbor prior to that, he's seen that and we've seen that in there too. So we said, well, that we gotta get rid of this little mistake because it was the map, like the planning map from back then was from 1970, whatever.
Yeah.
It was one of the old yellow ones that folded up, and sure enough, the only property that had a little L thing on the front was from that time. It was basically an error made by the person drawing and nobody caught it. Right? So then we just had it corrected at that time. Again, it wasn't her property, it wasn't our property, it was the city's property, not having the right property line there. Or the municipality's property not having it, so we corrected it. So there was no cost involved in either way, it was just corrected.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Let me know when it is. Are you gonna be notifying me when the next?
Once you get the stuff
once
to
you get the
Kara,
stuff to Kara.
Yeah, we'll need the information and then.
then she'll set up,
Okay,
Well, you'll be notified.
I'll see what I can do.
sooner the better. I mean, hypothetically.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. We don't have item number 7 bylaw. We don't have anything in bylaw.
I will introduce council resolution for the item to be tabled.
Well,
Oh, yeah, we have to table it, resolution.
I thought we were leaving it open.
It is open,
Not
but we're gonna, for the sake of the minutes, have a resolution to table.
Council can, if you want.
Okay, I thought. Okay, so we're tabling, not closing the public hearing. I thought we could table the decision. And then the public hearing would stay open. I'm not certain of that
I
process.
guess, yeah, if you don't want to pass a resolution, that should be fine too.
We leave the public hearing.
Because we're not closing the
Yeah,
public,
you're not closing.
we don't have a choice to. It's either. A decision can be tabled, but I don't think an opening and closing.
It was just a recommendation that was brought forward in our sidebar meeting to have a resolution, but
Like
Oh, I thought it
for
was.
further investigation, like a simple resolution. Table for further investigation.
That's fine. I
Have to state some sort of decision, that's for sure. You know.
Just for.
further information.
for more information.
Information.
So we're not tabling it. We're just a resolution to keep the public.
You're keeping it open. You're not closing it.
I'll read the resolution and then you can decide. Be it resolved that council table the public hearing for variation order 121/2023 for further information.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Counselor Duval, second by Counselor Imhoff. All those in favor? That's carried and the public hearing is now tabled. Okay, item number 7, we don't have anything under bylaws. Item number 8, we don't have anything under policies. Item number 9, general business. 9.1.1. For resolution.
Be resolved that the 2024 calendar be approved as presented.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Posthumous, second by Counselor Orozco. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Angela.
9.1.2.
Leave.
Be it resolved that council authorize a payment of $2,431.05, a donation of 25 cents per capita to Manitoba Crime Stoppers for the year 2023.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Horachko, seconded by Counselor Posthumus. Any comments or questions? Call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. 9.1.3.
Be it resolved that council approve the operating agreement for a self-funded community safety officer program as presented. And be it further resolved that all members of council and the CAO be authorized to sign the operating agreement on behalf of the municipality.
I'll move that, seconded by Counselor Duval. Any comments or questions? Counselor Imhoff.
Okay, just reviewing the agreement, it talks about the funding responsibility on the municipality. The one thing I would like to add is that the last ARM meeting, the executive director was there and said that there is grant money available for startups. So I just want to make sure that we have that identified and that we go. The ARM secretary was supposed to send around the stuff to all the municipalities so that we had that contact information or whatever. I just want to make sure that that's.
I did reach out to Manitoba Justice and ask them the question about the grant information and have yet to get a response. So it is on the books and I will follow up with them.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay. I'll call for the question. All those in favor? 9.1.4.
That was for the item this evening for the 2024 Western Canada Baseball Championships. Be it further resolved that the 2024 Western Canada Baseball Championships be declared a community event for the purpose of making an application for the appropriate permits. And be it further resolved that administration be authorized to submit a letter of support on behalf of the municipality. That council waives baseball complex tournament rental fee of $1,500 and that council agrees in principle to provide upgrades to the baseball complex.
Can I have a member, please? Counselor Posthumus, seconded by Counselor Horachko. I'll open the floor up for comments, questions. Counselor Foster.
Yeah, yesterday the community club had a kind of an emergency meeting on this. They had to get it in time because they applied for it. It sounds like they're going to get it. It's the Western Canadians. All profits, as you read in there, will be split 3 ways. They did do a provincial and we made close to $12,000 the last time. And the profits after all costs. The expansion on the fields isn't very much. What it is first baseline and third baseline fences are too short. They're supposed to be a little longer. And I believe the pitching mound has to be made a little bigger.
This is all.
So because it's hardball. It's the other fields are just going to be for warm-ups. So they'll be using the 3 main fields and the other ones will be of the 5 are warm-ups. The community club will make sure that soccer and everything else is accommodated or anything else would be moved over because they do have them closed because they get a lot of people. So they don't for the gate money coming in. And I think the rest is explanatory in there. And hey, Western Canadians who put us on the map a little bit again. We had the curling, so it's going to be a large event. They will be going after lots of sponsorship, which gives money to, like local hotels and stuff like that. But they needed us to get this ASP so they know they can do their application.
Need a letter of support.
Yeah, it's just a letter of support to apply.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask the CAO, we have another event that weekend in the RM.
Yes, we do have the dog show that weekend. So in terms of Staffing, they will have to ask these summer students to come and work those additional hours. Can do, it is feasible, but it is another expense for the RM.
Yeah, we would still probably have somebody at that anyway, because there would be soccer or something else there anyway.
We have some,
It is in the middle of summer.
Counselor Hretch?
yeah, and we do have summer students at that time of the year too. Yeah, so.
Counselor Duval?
Yeah, we could be short of staff if we have two big events, but what, can I ask you, Charles, what is needed for converting those, basically the fastball diamonds to hardball diamonds? You said that the fences have to be extended.
No, they are fastball already, just the
Hardball.
the hardball part. I mean, the hardball is there. We had provincial hardball. It's just they found out the fence has to go whatever, another 20 feet. It's too short. So they,
Okay,
when the balls land, they can't.
that would be our responsibility.
Yeah, but the cost would be covered from the event.
Now, I see there's 13-year age groups, 15 and 18.
Yeah.
18s are as good as adults, of course.
Yeah.
13-year-olds, they pitch from the same distance.
That I don't know. There are 3 different fields. So there's the 2 big ones and the 2 smaller ones. There are 4.
And so the mounds would have to be moved from where they are now.
Yeah.
And we would be doing that.
Yes.
Do we have an estimated cost of what it will? I mean, did you discuss that in the committee? Did the?
No, they didn't,
Determine?
but the fencing wouldn't be a lot. It's just to be extended. But all that comes out of then they make less profit. That all comes out of here. They're gonna make 10, 15 grand.
So are you saying that, because I read that the RM is responsible for all upgrades?
Right. Which would come out of the profits.
Get a third, so the profit last year was, or the last time it was here was $11,000, so we got around $3,500. So we're just asking. So you're saying that before profit is shared, the RM would be reimbursed?
That's what it looked like in here.
Well, you're on the committee, so did you?
It was, I'm not on that committee. I'm the basketball director. They were just reading it out loud and they have a special committee for that. I guess we could find that out, but this is first off to get support that they can apply for this.
Because I should be saying board. It's not a committee. It's
Currently drop-in bases are only 15.
Councilor Horachko.
So, they said no, it says the bullpen mounts may be, need to be refurbished. I
Right.
don't think they're moving them. They may need new, whatever on it, new.
And the permanent fence has to be extended. And it's a type of gravel, I'm gonna call it, or soil. It has to be a specific kind for these games.
Right.
So pitching mounds are where they are, but they're gonna be changed with this new soil. All that's on us.
It already meets those.
It meets those
Yeah.
standards, except it's gotta be upgraded.
Yeah.
You know, the fence is the one thing, so, and this is Western Canadians, this is awesome for us, because I mean, it's, promoting baseball in our community.
And what,
No different than the curling club or the seniors or.
yeah,
I did speak with the community services manager briefly before coming to council, and she did a little bit of footwork, and she said based on previous fencing work from 2022, they were quoted $151 per meter. So at an estimated size of 200 feet, which is 61 meters, they're estimating anywhere between 10 and 15,000 for the permanent fence installation. And
that's,
she questioned whether or not the St. Paul Community Club would be willing to contribute to those upgrades.
is that the amount they said
Yes.
they needed, a whole fence along that?
Recommended that extended fencing would be a permanent fencing installation, and that the estimated length required would be 50 feet per baseline for a total of 200 feet. 2 fields with 2 baselines per field. The cost is significant to the RM.
So we haven't heard from the community club yet if they're gonna.
No, as I said, I got this afternoon.
No, that's fine.
Well, I'm sure they would apply for a grant for that.
Well,
And the
Matter.
canteen revenue is 100% kept by the community club.
Yeah, that way they,
The batting cage upgrade is, it's a nice to have. And if they could get funding by way of a grant,
Yeah.
That would be feasible.
well, the other thing is we get to keep them now. We can do more games of older kids, like we have the foul line, the fence in.
Well, do we rent out that facility? Does the community club take
We rent it out.
time? We rent it.
Grant.
But
To Red River Valley.
talking to the community center to pitch in on that. Because they basically use it a lot. They probably use it, well, 60% of the time.
Well, we get all of Red River now, so it's everywhere. They want us to be like the, we're the main place, so they said to have the 18s and that, they want this foul line. Is it the fence there?
No, I'm not complaining about the fence. They could ante up. I think they're gonna make the profits. They're gonna
Yeah.
make all the profits from the canteen.
Yeah.
So there's money there, for them to partner with us.
Oh, and I'm sure they're gonna want, yeah, I can't see
We
them
could-
not
Maybe reach out to them,
to apply.
a resolution to,
Yeah, so if we word the resolution that we'll send the letter of support in regards to the upgrades and
for discussion.
profit sharing. I'd like to have a conversation.
Yeah.
So
Sounds good.
the item number 3 was council agrees in principle to provide upgrades, so that allows us the flexibility to have those conversations without committing.
Yep.
At the
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
And I agree with that. I think we should go forth with this. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of little details in it. We're not talking hundreds of thousands of dollars here. That's a very significant community event for us. A little awkward because we have that other major event going on in an area. But I think we can live with that. It's just a matter of extra people, which is some extra cost, but we're not looking at truck more money.
Yeah.
Prestige is probably pretty significant, I would say.
Yeah.
We pushed forward with the Scotties. I remember we worried a lot about costs and everything like that. And it was
Worked out.
very well done. And this could be the same result.
And the upgrades we get to keep.
And that's right. If we extend the fences, and the cold reality is the asset is improved by that much. If you have now diamonds that can be used for hardball at any time.
Coyotes won't get in there.
Yes, we gotta ask questions. We gotta know we'd like to know more than we know today, but I think very strong principle, we wanna go forward with this.
okay. I think that, I agree with you, Brian, that I'm in anything that we do, we have to always try and consider the whole community, right? And a lot of people will say the traffic and everything else is more of a burden than it is an asset. So I'm just saying that, and so we just have to look at it from all angles, and the community club will, we have gone into projects with them before where we cost shared items. So cost sharing should be something to consider.
Yeah. I think we just did the outside rinks with them.
Okey dokey, so for resolution,
We have a mover and a seconder. We just need a vote.
oh, great, okay. I'll call for the question, all those in favor? That's carried. Okay. 9.2.
Be a result that council approves the 2024 municipal emergency plan as presented.
Speak with.
We have a mover, please, Councillor Posthumous, second by Councillor Imhoff. Any comments, questions?
Well, it all looked pretty good.
No? Okay, then I will call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. 9.3. Sorry, 9.
Resolved that the arm of East St. Paul enter into a purchasing agreement with Q8 and Trucks for an E1 Typhoon pumper rescue for the cost of $1,309,256.51 And be it further resolved that the cost be borne from the fire equipment reserve and general reserve.
I have a mover, please, Counselor Horechko, second by Counselor Imhoff. Sorry, Counselor Imhoff, I should actually went to you first because you were on that committee. I apologize, I forgot.
Not offended.
Okay, as long as I got you in there. Any comments or questions? And we'll direct them to Counselor Imhoff because of course he was part of the committee. Counselor Horechko?
It's amazing how long the bill takes.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, fire trucks for sure, and lots of other specialty equipment is the exact same thing. Sure, yeah.
You're making this big of a commitment on something you're not gonna get for 3 years.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Counselor Posthumous?
I read that there was a slight change in cost, this new suspension. So the chief and they thought that was a lot better way. It just helped the truck to last longer. Or-
It was missed in when the original spec was done. It was one line item that was missed. So when spec got reviewed, it got added back in.
Okay, it was like $8,000 or something.
Yeah, and then the discrepancy in, so $8,000 and then the Canadian dollar
US.
inflation, so.
10. Okay.
Counselor Duval?
So question of the CEO, is this, we dealt with this last council meeting, and is it brought forward because the cost is very slightly increased or?
No, we brought it forward for the last meeting to allow the committee to negotiate and finalize the details of the truck.
Okay, thank you.
This is to confirm the purchase price so that they can place the order.
Okay, so I'll just thank the committee for all their efforts and Counselor Imhoff for all his efforts, and I'm sure his expertise was appreciated in the committee, so we thank you for all that. And hopefully in 3 years, we're all here to welcome our new truck.
Got a first ride?
Otherwise, it might be a new council welcoming in that new truck. Hopefully they invite us back for a picture in case we're not here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Okay, we had business arising, no business arising from delegation. Correspondence was for information in our package. And we have in camera tonight, so we'll have the resolution to move in camera.
Be resolved that council now move in camera as per section 152(3) of the Municipal Act to discuss personnel and business development matters, and be it further resolved that all matters discussed while in camera are to remain confidential as per section 83(1)(d) of the Municipal Act.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Counselor Imhoff, seconded by Counselor Posthumous. Call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried, and we will now. Council will now come out of in camera and I'll have the resolution.
Resolved that council now moves out of camera and resumes the regular.
I have a mover, please. Counselor Posthumous, second by Counselor Imhoff. All those in favor? It's carried. Now back into our planning meeting, and we have one resolution coming out of in camera.
Whereas the Arm of St. Paul has established a self-funded community safety officer program, and whereas council has authorized the CAO to recruit 2 community safety officers for the municipality, and whereas there is an immediate need to purchase 2 vehicles for the community safety officers, therefore be it resolved that the CAO be authorized to purchase 2 2020 Ford Explorer interceptor SUVs from Turner and France for the cost of $23,500 per vehicle plus shipping.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Horechko, second by Counselor Posthumous. Any comments or questions? Call for the question. All those in favor? And that's carried. And now the resolution to adjourn.
Be resolved that the meeting be adjourned, the time being 8:34 p.m.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Imhoff, second by Counselor Duval. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much and have a good evening.